Now, as I mentioned, these were a couple taken from Kibbutz Nir Oz, one of the really hardest hit communities on October 7th. There are, I believe, 30 hostages still remaining from Kibbutz Nir Oz, and even more who were killed in that attack. Joining us now is Irit Lahav, and she is a resident of Kibbutz Nir Oz and is acting as a spokesperson for the kibbutz. And in fact, some of the viewers may remember we did speak with Irit after October 7th. She survived the attack by managing to seal her safe room in her home, save her and her daughter, by jamming the door with a piece of her vacuum cleaner. And that was quite a miraculous recovery. Irit, though, thanks for joining us. We discussed your story, but now let's talk about this situation. Let's talk about the kibbutz as a whole, because unfortunately, as we said, this latest death just adds to that toll of, which unfortunately may well grow more, hopefully not, on Nir Oz, and how the community, it's impacting on the community.
Now it's 47 people that are accounted dead, murdered during October 7th attack. We are devastated. It's very hard for us to pass another day. We worry so much about our loved ones that are still there. We are especially worried about the elderly people. Some of them, many of them, are above 80 years old, and every day without food and medicine, they can just die, and no hope. And the fear, being alone in the dark. Some of them are in the tunnels without air sometimes. It's very difficult conditions. So we are really worried that they may may die in captivity and not see their children and their family and the light of day.
Right.
It's really terrible. 30 people still there.
Still there, devastating.
From Nir Oz.
Right. I was down in Nir Oz, and I believe certainly William, I know you were down there. Just shocking to see, even weeks after the conditions of the kibbutz, to even imagine what went on in those scenes. I mean, the question is whether that community can grow again. I mean, the shock both of the people having, and even just the outright physical damage that's been done by the kibbutz. I'm not sure that people who haven't seen it realize that there just aren't a lot of homes for people to come back to.
Exactly. We cannot go back to the kibbutz for the next 3 years. It will take 3 years to rebuild the kibbutz. And I remind you that quarter of the people, 1 out of 4, is either dead or kidnapped. So some of the houses will not have people or the whole family going back to. So we don't know how the community will overcome this devastation. We don't know how many people would like to even go back to live at the kibbutz and take the risk again of being so close to Gaza Strip, or walk on the streets and seeing the houses where all these terrible things had happened. Entire families wiped off, burnt alive. So it remains to be seen. But anyway, we don't have to think about it for the next 3 years because it will take so long to rebuild it.
Right. A report in the media just today that the community of Kiryat Gat, which is sort of in south central Israel, is offering housing as a temporary answer to the issues.
Exactly. More than 2 months we've been staying at a hotel in Eilat, and finally within a week or two we will move to apartments. So we will again have our own little apartments, a kitchen, something that is so obvious to people, to cook your own food and wash your clothes. We didn't have a way to do it. In a hotel you can keep so many little things, and that's it. So we are longing to have our own apartments. And it is interesting, I volunteered packing things for people who did not want to go back to the kibbutz because it's still heartbroken. And I got the list, what they want me to pack for them. And most of them asked for pictures from the wall. So I was wondering, why did people ask for pictures? It's not the family pictures;
Right.
it's the pictures from the
Right.
walls. And then I thought they probably want to feel at home, you know.
Right. William, that was a devastating day for me to see Kibbutz Nir Oz and what was down there. What your impressions were. I know you were just down there the last few days.
Likewise, it is such a beautiful place with flowers and gardens and amazing art in people's front yards and backyards, and you could just see the love of the community. And to see this peaceful community, beautiful community that had so many relationships with folks from Gaza, just betrayed and murdered and brutalized, it felt like I was being betrayed and brutalized. And I believe all of American Jewry is in that same exact place where we feel your pain, we stand with you. We want to give you a hug. I gave you a hug, I think, when we were getting...
And I should mention, of course, as I mentioned before, from a U.S. citizen. He was not born. He was born in Israel, I believe, but he had spent a considerable amount of time in the U.S. And of course, still there are other U.S. citizens, both hostage and, of course, among the death toll.
I met with some Haggai family cousins today, and they very much appreciated President Biden's outreach, the meeting that they had previously with the President, with Secretary Blinken, and then the statement that was put out. I was at the Sheba Tel HaShomer Hospital and saw some victims from Nir Oz who had issues with their hands from having to hold the lock. One who'd had a hand amputated and burned fingers. It's outrageous, and just know that we stand here with you, and we will be here with you for those 3 years and beyond to ensure that the people of Israel are safe and secure.
Right. I want to pick up on a word you said, betrayed, because Gadi, a guy, and his wife Judith, still a hostage, were, from what I've read, one of those people living both in Nir Oz and in the Gaza border that believed in coexistence, took part in that. Kibbutz Nir Oz, more and more stories you hear about people who even went and they went to the Erez crossing and took people, Palestinians there, and brought them to hospitals and back. I want to get your feeling about that. I mean, how do you feel? How does the other people on the kibbutz, the people that did believe and wanted to believe in that coexistence with Gaza, how they're coping and dealing with the situation?
Oded Lifshitz, who is a hostage, he's 83 years old, and myself used to wait at Erez border crossing and take Palestinians to hospitals in Israel, Ichilov and Tel HaShomer. When I was in a safe room and they were shooting and throwing grenades, for endless amount of weapon, and I thought to myself, I was so disappointed because I and many people from our kibbutz were so supportive of the Palestinians, and I thought, why are they doing this to us, who were the biggest supporters for them? It really broke my heart. Sitting there, hiding, thinking that it will be my last minutes, maybe, and they will kill me, and I'm there for several years driving the sick people to get cancer treatment.
So how do you cope? How do you process that?
I realized that they really hate us. They really hate us. They're not. I thought that there were few Hamas who are trying to push the whole community to be, but all the others are really peace-loving people, and all they want is a beautiful house in the garden and go swim on the beach. But no, I realized that the population, the Palestinian public, really hate us, and this has to be uprooted in a way that maybe the education, maybe I don't know, something really deep has to change. Really, it's not enough to just think we will move these few bad ones, the Hamas, and the rest of the population will finally flourish. No, it's the whole population. Civilians came to our houses and mobbed it, really. So this was sort of a realization call for me to, not that I hate them now, I don't. I still have compassion to them, but I realize these are not those good, peace-loving people that I imagined that they are. It's something very down from the bottom has to change, really.
All right. Well, people are talking about that, some kind of process similar to what even what happened with Germany after World War II, where a generation has to be re-educated from the incitement of the time. Well, Irit Lahav, thank you. It was good to see you in the studio this time, and the best, of course, our dearest wishes of all those who were taken hostage in Nir Oz, and all of them hostages be returned, and that Nir Oz, which was so devastating to go to for me, will rise again and prosper once again as the beautiful community it was and is and will be. Thank you for joining us.
I'm thinking that it is Christmas Eve.
Right. We'll have to leave it on that.
Okay.
But,
thank you.
William Darrow, Robert Swift, stay with us. We'll be right back. Stay with us.